Well, it's been almost a week since the election. Of course, we still don't know who the president of the country is, and we probably won't know for a month or two. But I felt like I owed everybody an update because there's been some things happening. Although the elections are over, I was kind of impressed actually with how quickly gears were turning, and I was already having meetings at the Capitol and trying to get prepared for the next legislative session. So I want to kind of tell some of these stories of what's been happening, because what you're going to get from me constantly, even though the campaign is over and we've officially won, I'm going to deliver on what I said I would do, unlike so many of my predecessors. And I'm going to give you the inside scoop at what's happening at the Capitol. Pull back the veil and let you see what's happening and how things are really done. And really how shady so much of this is. So I want to share this with you. And I'll start with probably a couple days before the election. I got an email from a seated lawmaker, right? Somebody who's already in office. And this person said, hey, did you get this email? So I scrolled down and I saw a message that was sent to obviously a whole bunch of people, but not me, saying that on Friday, last Friday, there's going to be a meeting at 8:30 a.m. where leadership would be elected. Whether it was going to be the minority leader or speaker of the House, whatever, but Republicans were going to elect their leadership for this next legislative session. So I got this and thought, well, I didn't get this invitation to this meeting, but the invitation clearly says, plain as day, that all House Republicans are welcome. And all House Republicans are invited, it said. But I never got it. So I thought, well, if I end up winning on Tuesday, because this again was a couple days before the election, I'm going anyway, because it says we're invited. And so obviously, it was definitely from the establishment Republicans, the ones that have been spending tens of thousands of dollars against me. But as I've said many times over the last couple of years, when you've got Republicans and Democrats working against you, you must be doing something right. So, as we got closer to this, last Thursday, I was on a call there was another freshman lawmaker that was just elected in Minnesota, and we were kind of talking through what we plan on doing. You know, there's a couple House Republican caucuses in St. Paul, and this person said they were going to the victory dinner that night. They were on their way to St. Paul. I think they were somewhere up north. They were going to the victory dinner that night, and I said, what victory dinner? I don't know about a victory dinner. And they said, oh, well, it's where they welcome the new members and they say goodbye to the parting members, the ones that are leaving. And so I thought, well, I guess I'm not getting invited to the meeting and I'm not getting invited to the dinner. So I guess I'm still continuing to do things right. So Friday morning came around and the new House Caucus, comprised of 4 people, and I feel like I need to point this out. So 3 out of these honorees here are in the new House Republican Caucus. So you got Cal Barr, Steve Drazkowski, and Jeremy Munson. That's 3 out of the 4 people that make up the new House Caucus. Now, so 75% of the members are on these honorees for the Minnesota LEA, the Legislative Evaluation Assembly, where they scorecard votes based on their constitutionality. Are they in alignment with our founding principles or not? And it's unfortunate we only have 4 honorees when there's 201 lawmakers. But if you've been watching my stuff for a while, you know I've already kind of talked about this, so I won't dwell on it. But these guys have been awesome. They've been reaching out to me. They've been coming out door knocking. They've been pitching in and trying to help me win this race for, I don't know, a month or two. And so Friday morning, I went into the Capitol and I met with the new House Caucus, and I got to talk to them about how they could help me become the most effective lawmaker I could be. Because if you've been paying any attention to what I've been talking about, all I care about is delivering results to you. So equal shared parenting, tax cuts, term limits, these are the things that we've been talking about. And these are the things that I now feel the responsibility of delivering on. And so we laid out that vision. And it was very much here's how we can help you deliver these things. And so I was impressed, but I really went in with an open mind. I really did, as much as my opponents over the last year have accused me of just simply wanting to join a caucus here or there. I really went in open-minded, thinking what makes the most sense for me and the people who voted for me. So then I went to the other meeting, which was with the old House Republican Caucus, or we could even call it the Rhino Caucus. And they're not all rhinos, but they're led most definitely by rhinos. So I went into that meeting and they had no idea I was coming, which made it a lot of fun. And I walked in the room, and the looks on a lot of people's faces were of what the heck is this guy doing here? So it was rewarding for me because I don't shy away from that sort of stuff. And they even try to kick me out. They try to pull me aside and say, you need to leave or pledge that you're going to join this caucus. And like I told them at the time, and I have said it already here, I said, I'm not prepared to join any caucus. I'm here to kind of get a flavor for things and make sure I make a wise decision. And so we had our meeting, and it was, okay, but I definitely drew the line. Anybody who's watching this, that was at that meeting. It was definitely very clear. I made my position well known on where I would fall with leadership, because my point in that meeting was I'm not going to pledge my allegiance to this body when I don't even know who the leader of this body is going to be. But knowing the current leader has been actively working against me and campaigning against me for 3 years. They spent more money against me than they did against my Democratic opponent. So why would I just pledge a loyalty to this group without knowing who the future leader is going to be? I wanted a voice in that process. So unfortunately, that group elected the minority leader all over again, Kurt Daudt. And that person has lied to me repeatedly. He's campaigned against me. And I cannot, as someone who has worked for some amazing leaders in the business community, some amazing, principled, honest, just down to earth, salt of the earth leaders. There's no way I could possibly look up to that person as a leader. My standards are way higher than that. So I'll tell you guys all in this video, I have officially, as of today, announced by sending a letter to Minority Leader Kurt Daudt and Speaker of the House Melissa Ortman that I will be joining the new House Republican Caucus. The conservative caucus. We can just call them that. So I want you guys to be aware of that and what went into that decision making, because the vision that the new House Caucus laid out and how I can deliver on my promises was vastly different from the vision and the help that I was getting from members of the old House Caucus. And obviously I was only there for that afternoon, but there were several of those members that came up to me and just pretty much said, you need to just settle down. Come over here, just kind of go along to get along and accept the fact that we're in the minority. And when you're in the minority and you're a freshman, you're not going to get anything done. So literally this person said, you should just spend the next 2 years learning the legislative process. And then maybe in 2 years or so, maybe then you can try to get some bills passed. And I actually told this person that I fundamentally disagree, that I didn't bust my butt for 3 years for the people watching this video to come in here and sit on my thumbs for 2 years learning the process. Now the process, sure, I get it's important, but I'm not going to singularly focus on the process. I'm going to focus on delivering results to you. So this person's advice to me was essentially, ignore the voices of the people that voted for you and just don't do anything. And that is not by any stretch of the imagination what I intend on doing. That go along to get along, that don't rock the boat stuff, it doesn't fly with me. And if you've been paying attention to anything I've been talking about for 3 years, you probably already know that. So I wanted to share that with you guys and kind of expand on that, because some of these promises, like term limits, I'm going out to Florida next week, and there are liberty-minded legislators from across the whole country that are coming out to this conference. And my intention with this conference is to tap into these lawmakers and try to build this coalition of state legislators that are willing to force congressional term limits on Congress. So that is a huge promise. It's going to take time, but I think that's step one, is networking and building a coalition of state legislators across the country that can help us get that done. So next week I'm going down there, and we're going to start going down that path. So that's a big deal. Other than that, that's kind of the update, but stay tuned, because yeah, I'd like to think I don't talk like your average person, politician, if you will. And I'm going to give you insight you're not getting anywhere else, because most people, frankly, they're just too scared to do it. I wish that wasn't the case, but everybody's so concerned about their political career. In fact, when I introduced myself, well, I'll back up a little bit. When we did introductions at this meeting on Friday, another freshman lawmaker stood up and introduced themselves, and they said something to the effect that they had this career doing this thing for 30 years, But then they said, but this is my new career, being a politician. And I'm not kidding. That's almost verbatim. This is their new career, being a politician. And when I stood up to do my introduction, I said, well, I am not here to launch a new career. I'm a business person. I'll always be a business person. I said, I'm here to treat government the way that government's been treating me. And thankfully, the room kind of got a chuckle out of it. That's probably the last chuckle I'll get from that room, the way things went the rest of the day. But oh, it was so much fun. So stay tuned. Dial in here, watch these things, share these videos, because people deserve to know how things really happen at the Capitol and where the divides really fall. So share this thing, get it out there. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll keep seeing you out here. Thanks.